Cat's introduction. The B is for bollocks.
Darren, yeah, come in. How you doing? Come in.
I'm alright.
Yeah, glad you can make it.
What's this?
What do you think? It's brilliant, isn't it? What did you think? It's like, I thought a new location for the cast would be brilliant to kind of keep everything fresh.
But it's a fucking moon base, mate.
Yeah, it's great. Moonbase, Geek Planet, new host. It's all kind of ties together. See what I did there?
You don't think it's a bit over the top, then?
Well, it could be said it's a bit over the top, but look at it. It's got white walls, view of the moon. So, let me take you on a little journey around, show you the place before we start doing a new podcast, eh?
All right.
Okay, right. So over here is the kitchen and living quarters. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, quite spacious.
Yeah,
quite spacious.
Over here is command and control.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, it keeps everything in control. Nice.
Big screen.
Yeah, nice. Like the consoles. It's all good.
Lots of flashing lights.
Yeah.
Always.
Don't touch that.
Apart from the red flashing.
Don't
lights.
touch that.
I won't touch that.
Don't touch it.
I won't touch. What, this?
No, don't touch it.
I won't touch that.
Right, cool. Over here, just as you can see out the window, is the nuclear waste dump.
Mm-hmm.
And over here, very important, over here is recycling.
Right.
Whatever you do, just keep recycling in mind. It's all cool. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
We need to be eco-friendly. We're on the moon.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Recycling's good in an environment that doesn't really have resources to offer.
Brilliant. We've got plastics there, tin there, glass there. Okay.
Right.
Cool. Right. So, anyway, before we show you to your living quarters, we'll do the cast. Do you want to give me a hand tidying some of this shit up?
All right. Yeah.
I think the previous owners left lots of rubbish lying around.
Yeah.
So
some McDonald's cartons and stuff.
If you can put that in the paper.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do.
Cool. And we'll put this over here. If you can, if you see any, tins, just put them to one side. We'll wash them and stuff. So.
Okay, no problem.
Give us a hand.
Yep. Okay, I'll check this one over here and that one over there and... Oh.
No! Don't put the fucking tin in with the plastics!
What?
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Dr. Nick.
hello.
Yes, it's working. Hooray!
Hey, we're coming out on different channels this time.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We've had a few technical hitches. Nothing
Just a few.
Nothing major in the grand scheme of things.
No.
But anyway, hello and welcome to episode 102 of the Blackdog podcast.
We never thought we'd make it this far, but there you go.
No, exactly. I don't know what we're going to call it. What are we going to call it this week?
Well, I think, it's kind of that, if when you think you've killed something, go back and shoot it in the head again.
Double
That's
tap.
what they should have done with our podcast, because we just got back the fuck up again, just like Jason in whatever fucking slasher movie, either the Friday the 13th or October the 12th.
What the fuck? How am I going to fit that all in the
I
title?
don't know.
I think we just call it
It's
location.
a title longer than the podcast.
Call it location.
Location.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm Lee.
If I had a hammer,
What?
there we go. If I had a hammer,
If I had a hammer, I'd fucking hit you with it right now.
sorry, go on, carry on.
Clearly, those lemon puddings have gone right.
Wow,
to your head.
they just that
They've
was
gone right to your
lemony.
fucking.
Waffle Man.
Hello, let's start. I'm Lee,
I'm Darren.
and Darren's had far too many sugars in his tea. Clearly.
I'm off my tits on St. Atchison.
He's pushing it out, pushing the boat out on the old
Oh yeah,
disco biscuits, obviously.
Damn right.
Well, this week we're going to do some news, have a bit of chat, and then we're going to have Jim Moon's Profanisaurus, and then we'll have the Money Pit, Rose Tinted Specs, and then that'll be it. We'll all go home. Yay! Anyway, so, Darren, how was your week?
How was my week?
Yes.
Well, my week. Let's see. Let's have a look at my week, shall we? I've got a couple of like media things going on there. Things as in like a new game.
Which one's that?
This was Rage, because I don't think I mentioned this last week.
You did, but only briefly.
All right. Okay. Well, I've finished it now. Okay. I played the shit out of that game. Loved it. It is basically Fallout 3, but with all the seriousness taken off of it, and there's just go for it. Just blow shit up and make shit to blow shit up as well. You know. I loved it. It's quite a short game, but
you're trading it in.
I will be trading it in, but I'm saving it up. It's one of the ones that I'm building up to trade so I can get Mass Effect 3 when it comes out. You see, or at least try and afford to get Mass Effect 3 without having to cut into my food budget for the month.
Who needs food?
Who needs food? This should be your nourishment.
I have a full-on robot chubby for that game, like you wouldn't believe.
Sure you do. Put it away. Put it away.
March the 6th.
Yes.
Anyway,
But it's getting there anyway, yeah. So, Rage, yeah, I'd recommend it. It's only, you can get it for a tenner in Morrison's at the moment.
So that's going to make the
Brand
trading
new.
worth it, isn't it?
Well, I think for a tenner, it's a bloody good game for a tenner.
But your trading's going to be like £1.50.
No, because Evil Rules doesn't sell it for a tenner. They sell it for like 16, 20 quid.
Okay, so if you want this is a Blackdog top tip. Go and buy about 40 from Morrison's.
and then make yourself a profit.
Make yourself a profit
There
by
you
trading
go.
them into games.
Probably of about 2 quid.
Each one? Yeah.
No, in total.
Oh, right.
There you are. So there was that. This week also saw, movie-wise, 2 films. One, of course, was Super, which you recommended to everybody.
Yes.
Yep, enjoyed that. There definitely were bits in that I could have seen myself doing to people. Maybe not with a wrench, but the whole thing
you're not
about...
trying.
I know. The whole thing about cutting in the queue, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
beating the shit out of
See,
people
I
for
knew
doing
it would
that.
appeal.
It would appeal. Not as much as that. I think it's called Made in America, the one that's coming out soon.
That looks really good.
Where the bloke sort of like, they get the bloke gets popcorn chucked at him and he just turns around and shoots the bloke in the face.
That's right.
That thing. I mean, that the whole thing in that trailer is how I feel about just modern day life in general.
Yes.
This sort
You are just.
I am the bloke in the trailer.
You're
and I am
actually the
gonna
bloke
crack.
from falling down.
I am the bloke from falling down. Yes, I lost my. I don't go to work.
Maybe we should cover that at some point.
think we should.
Unless, of course, it's going to act as a trigger and send you off.
I think
on
it'd be just cathartic. That's going to be a Rose Tinted Specs for me. That one.
in real life.
That's it. Nothing bad about this movie. This was the story of my life.
In my
fact,
head.
last Thursday, actually, in Peckham.
The police are still looking for me.
They are.
Oh dear.
So there was that.
Yeah.
So Super. Enjoyed that.
Cool.
Good film. And the other film I went to see this week was The Muppets.
Aha. Yeah.
Laura, her birthday yesterday, so
Happy birthday,
love,
Laura.
again. On the Monday, we should say. So her choice. Originally, we were going to go and see Woman in Black, but then she heard the Muppets were actually playing. She's like, Muppets.
Well, Woman in Black is not exactly birthday romance kind of thing, is it?
No,
really?
but
Let's be honest.
It's still. I mean, apparently, it's a really good version
I've
of
heard
stage
it.
play.
Yeah.
So, I really want to see that.
Yes.
But Muppets, good film, funny. It didn't make me laugh constantly. It was more I was smiling watching it, and there's a bit where they actually go ahead and finally the Muppets play the theme tune, and it's a reenactment of the opening of the show.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I sat there and it's like my spine tingled. It was just a really.
Your soul was transported back to 1975.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to have that kind of emotional reaction to it, but when it did, it was kind of like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen the pop video for that?
The pop video?
Yeah, because the band that actually played it, recreated the actual thing. They've got a pop video which has actually got the Muppets in it.
Oh,
it's
brilliant.
Very good. Very funny.
Well, it's the whole thing with the build-up to this film. It's the advertising for it, the push they've done for it. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like little viral videos. I mean, I think it started off last year with the Bohemian Rhapsody one.
Well, it went, and then there was the recreation of all the trailers.
Yes, indeed.
There was even the Green Lantern one, wasn't there?
I didn't see the Green Lantern one.
Yeah, with Frog, with Kermit the Frog. Yeah, but cool.
Yeah.
So
I'd say go and see it. I personally thought that it was more for adults than it was for kids, because it's this whole sort of, the band's broken up and we're getting them all together, and there is a bit, I must admit, there's a bit where Kermit the Frog is walking through his house and he's singing this song, and he's got paintings on the wall of all the old crew, and I felt quite emotional in that part. I felt quite
you
sad.
silly old bastard.
It was, but it's the song. It's like the whole thing of like, he's having these memories and like, he hasn't talked to these people in a while, and then the paintings start moving as if he's like his memories of these people betrayed onto the actual pictures themselves.
Yeah. Well, that song was written by Brett. Is it Brett?
A lot of them are
from was it Flight of the Conchords?
Well, there's two that the one
That's
that
up for an Oscar, I think, as well.
What the one with? Well, there is one called "Am I a Man or a Muppet?"
Yeah.
And that song is just brilliant. But you hear it and it's like that was written by the Flight of the Conchords guys.
Yeah.
There is no doubt about it, because of the lyrical content in it. It's like that sounds so like them to create that. So
cool.
Yeah, great songs in it. Some really, really good humour. It's knowing in parts as well. Like they mention the fact that they've just done a dance number. It's not like how did we fit that in the budget for the movie?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Some great cameos as well, especially in the scene where they have the Muppets tribute band that put Fozzie Bears in called the Muppets.
Okay.
And it's who is playing. I mean, personally for me, I won't say it, but look out for the guy playing Animal.
Oh dear.
All right, and anybody who's into modern music will know who this guy is.
Is it Dave Grohl?
I can't say who it is. when you see it, you'll see who it is.
Okay, cool.
But me and Laura had a good laugh at it. So
so it is Dave Grohl.
It's a good film. It's a good film. I recommend it.
Cool, excellent. Well, that's fantastic.
So that's me done. I'm finished. I'm spent.
Okay. I've had really, really shit time at work. I won't go into all of that because I have just vented my spleen prior to. Yeah.
Can of worms. Not even just a can of worms. No. It's a truck full. It's a swimming pool. A swimming pool of worms.
Yes, a whole heap of worms. It's like the whole back catalogue of Team 17 worms games.
All the worms you see in the fucking "We Don't Need No Education" video by Pink Floyd.
That's it.
All them.
Yes, brick in the wall.
Brick in the wall. That's it.
Yeah. Apart from that, films. I've been going through a lot of sort of like Film 4 stuff. For some reason, Film 4. Oh shit! Don't do that. For some reason, Film 4 have been putting out a signal which my TV seems to love upscaling. So I've been watching everything, and it looks like it's bloody HD.
Nothing wrong with watching Film 4.
No, I love that. But you're gonna love this.
Go on.
I sat there, and I was kind of like, Carol's gone to bed early. She was feeling pretty tired, so I'm sitting there, and I've watched Blades of Glory,
right?
Which wasn't on Film 4, but that should have just been called Ice Holes. Because that was fucking rubbish.
You didn't like it at all?
No, I didn't. I didn't like it at all. But then I flipped over to Film 4 and they were having a vampire evening. So I'm thinking, right, cool. So the first one was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original. So I watched that, and it's interesting to watch it now with hindsight of like the 7 years of Buffy and everything else that's gone on since.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting to watch it and kind of go, yeah, you can see the seeds of it, props to Whedon for that, so I sort of sat there and watched that and I thought, oh, that's cool. Then I went out and made myself a cup of tea and I thought, oh, well, I've got a fucking evening of vampire movies, that's cool. So I went back, had a cup of tea, went to the toilet, came back out, and I sat down and I'm watching the next film, and the credit, I've obviously missed the credits, and I'm sitting there thinking, this seems strangely familiar, but I don't quite know what the fuck it is. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying to work it out, and I'm racking my brains, and then I realised it's fucking Twilight. Oh man alive, I watched it, and you know what, I actually sat there and I watched it. You know why? Because I thought, you know what, maybe because Rob still goes on about fucking Edward this and Edward that and all that bollocks, and I thought, you know what, I'll sit and see if I can go through the first one again.
I am team bloke who nearly hit Bella with a car.
Oh man alive, I genuinely have not found myself so bored by a film since Phantom Menace, when I fell asleep in the cinema.
Oh, shit.
It's just dirge. It's complete dirge.
It's air. That's all it is.
It's movie of the week air. But then straight after that, what did we get? The final appetizer. And I thought, oh, you know, this can only go bad. Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh!
Now we are going to cover that. We're going to cover that.
Oh, yes, we certainly are.
For our 4 weeks of horror. So we'll leave that there. So, but nevertheless, I sat there and I thought, cool, that's good. That's a good way to kind of cleanse the palate.
Oh, baby, yeah.
And it's like chalk and cheese going from one to the other.
And then you realise that you didn't actually see the number 2 on the end of the title, and it was Dusk Till Dawn 2. Is that right?
Oh God, no.
It was actually Dusk Till Dawn.
It did have George Wobbly Head Clooney, so I was cool
I don't
with
mind him in that film at all. I think he plays the the bad guy in that very, very well.
Yeah, I like that. I love that sort of switcheroo about midway through. You think you think you can dodge Mr. Bullets, you know, all that sort of thing. But no, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. What else? I've started playing Mass Effect 1 again.
You're just so needy, aren't you?
I am. I'm jonesing. I'm jonesing for this. I tell you what, like, I know. Basically, just so everyone knows, we are going to be doing a Mass Effect special. So if you're not into the games, there'll be a one recording with some guests on the 2nd of March, which is a Friday.
Do you want to tell them who the guests are?
It's Neil Shepherd. It's you, obviously.
Yes.
It's Chris Hill, the Scoot.
Yeah, that's right, the Scoot.
And Jennifer Williams.
It certainly is.
So we're going to be geeking out because it'll be 1 week till Mass Effect 3, and we've been trying to talk on Twitter, and it's like impossible to talk in 140 characters. So there'll be a Blackdog Mass Effect special where we basically geek out and save ourselves twittering. So that's all that's about. So don't be surprised when it turns up. And also, don't be surprised if you've never played Mass Effect if you don't want to download it, because it's going to be fairly geeky, I imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be fairly story intensive.
Yes, I think it's going to be.
There will be spoilers.
There will be spoilers. Oh yes. But anyway, so that's coming up. Anyway, so I've started playing that again, and I tell you what, it's been a long time since I played a series of games that have got me that engaged. Really has. And it's, you know, I can play games and enjoy them, but this game really has kind of kicked my arse in all manner of ways. Just the depth of the universe, playing the first one all over again, seeing all the little plot points that are obviously coming up in number 3. Oh, it's so good. It's so well written. It's so nicely done. It's just the fucking bouncy car thing is just driving me mental at the moment.
You know what? The Mass Effect, actually, the Mass Effect series so far is the only one that I've kept on the Xbox 360 that I've actually kept the previous games for. Yeah. So it's going to be one that just sits there, in the shelf, and then it will be played again. And
there's an interesting article. Not that I want to break into the cast that we're going to be doing for it, but there's an interesting article which I will link to on the Blackdog Facebook page, which is about like how this game universe is actually more important than the Star Wars universe and the Star Trek universe, because it's more rounded. It's like the first like hardcore science fiction that's been in a mass media, as opposed to Star Trek, where all the aliens have rubber foreheads, or Star Wars, where it's just basically a fantasy novel.
Well, there are some very alien races in that game. So
exactly. But anyway, so yes, we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, on the 2nd. But obviously, you will have normal transmission as any normal podcast anyway. So don't worry about getting a podcast that you have to skip if you're not into it. What else? Oh, I've got my 40 meg light speed fucking internet and turbo nutter bollocks.
Yeah, well, what we should sort of like tell everybody is that we are actually listening to ourselves in the future because it's that quick.
Yes.
So, we know what we're going to say. This show's already been planned out.
So
we're just repeating it.
Yeah, so if you don't hear me laughing at Darren, it's not because I don't find him funny, it's because I've heard the joke 3 seconds before.
Yep.
See? So, yeah, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it.
It's not that good a broadband then. Only 3 seconds before. You didn't hear it like this afternoon.
Well, I might have done, but I'm being nice
It's
to you.
pretty shit broadband you got there, didn't
Shut the fuck up. Seriously. How's your phone? Is it hooked in?
My phone's hooked in. My phone's fine.
Your phone's plumbed in, draining my fucking bandwidth limitation.
Draining your bandwidth? If that is draining your bandwidth, then you haven't got bloody 40 meg download. I'll tell you that now. Fucking hellfire.
You're downloading the whole of RedTube onto your phone. What are you...
Christ almighty, man. You should just laugh at that, okay? See this mega download, I thought you were going to give me something bloody difficult to do.
Yes.
You know?
Fair enough. Well, anyway, shall we do the news?
Let's do the news.
Here is the news. We've got some news. Fucking big news. Here comes the news.
Right, okay, so news. There is an awful lot of news, so I'm having to resort to the IO9 morning spoilers section, which isn't actually morning spoilers, it's actually just IO9 trawling for the smallest, tiniest tidbit of information, which is usually not very interesting. So I apologise in advance. But before we go into proper news, obviously there was a thing on the Facebook group, which obviously was the Prometheus trailer, the international trailer, which
trailer. Make sure you put that in there.
Yeah, which got released sort of between casts. And Darren, did you see it?
I didn't need to, apparently.
No, that's what I was going to say. A couple of the comments came back that obviously it looked like the same one as before, and that's because yes, the key was the word international trailer. And just so everyone knows the way it works, basically you have an international something that gets distributed out to the rest of the world. Basically, it's going to get regionalised, which means all the text gets changed to the local language. And so really the international trailer, which everyone was going, oh, there's a bit more of this and a bit more of that and a bit less of this and a bit less of that, nope, it's exactly the same length as the original, and it's got all the same content as the original, and the only difference being is that there is no word Prometheus coming up in the middle, and there's just some black borders. There's just sort of black boards that pop up at the very end. Black boards are basically what they put the text on, directed by Ridley Scott, and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Those little captions that come up. And that's because there's going to be some poor sod with After Effects basically typing in a load of text to match those scenes. And so, yes, the international trailer is exactly the same as the original. So, anyone tells you they can see more, probably the only thing they can see is more of a scene where there was some text over the top of it. So I, for example, thought, I can see a bit more, and then I thought, no, actually I can't.
Can you see any more of Charlize Theron doing naked
push-ups?
push-ups?
No, you can't see more of Charlize Theron.
Her nipples are helping her.
Yeah, I don't know. That's I don't know. Right. So, apparently, it's going on to a bit more newsy news with the Avengers. Tom Hiddleston has been revealing more information.
I've got something to say about that in a moment. Anyway, sorry, something I meant to say.
What, acid
last
flashback?
week.
Go on, say
Acid
it now.
flashback.
Say it now.
Okay, we've had a big thing about who the enemy is.
Oh yes.
And
let's talk about that.
It's both correct that it's not the Skrulls and incorrect that it's not the Skrulls. Because it's the Skrulls, but they've called them something different.
Yes.
Because the studio that's making the Avengers doesn't own the rights to the name. Sony do.
Yes.
So they're called the Reactant, I think.
Yeah.
They were. I think they're
Redacted.
That's it. They're Redacted, and it's kind of an offshoot of the Skrulls, apparently, in the Marvel universe.
Because I'm right in thinking that the Skrulls were going to appear in one of the Fantastic Four movies, in which case that's Fox, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. They were going to feature in a film that was in development.
Well, if you want any more proof that it is the Skrulls, take a look at the photographs from the Avengers board game that's coming out.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be leaving you in much
amazing.
doubt who the bad guys are for this one.
It is amazing that they go to all this effort to try and like hide everything away, and
then they go, look at the board game.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, so it's the Skrulls, but they're not the Skrulls.
It's the Skrulls, but not the Skrulls. Skrull by any other name.
Yes, exactly. Yes. They look like these sort of like trolls that were sort of stumbled in off of Skyrim, but have been on a massive diet.
Well, as long as they've got the big Jimmy Hill chins, like the Skrulls do, with the big sort of like padding bit, then that's fine. That's what gives away the Skrulls.
That wasn't my Jimmy Hill, by the way. That was my Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah, Jimmy Hill.
Good game. No, that's
Jimmy. Yeah, that's Bruce Forsyth.
Is it
marvelous? So much better than last week's Invaders. I'm an entertainer.
What's me dance? Come on, love.
Wheel him off, for fuck's sake.
You smell of piss, Forsyth. Get off.
We've got a new series of Strictly Dancing. Quickly, spark up Brucey.
Yeah, you're gonna just imagine there's like a sort of like Dr. Frankenstein style 30s sort of James Whale style lab.
He is a creation of Tesla. It's one of Tesla's creations.
Yes, we plugged him into some salt and then we let the lightning hit it and yeah. Actually, I think he's cloned. You
think so?
I think Brucey's cloned.
I
think it'll be like the Matrix. There's thousands of light entertainment clones.
I think he's got a Lazarus pit. I think he's Ra's al Ghul. This is it.
Ra's al
Ghul.
Razzle Forsyth.
Is it?
Oh yeah, that was a bit.
Ra's al, good game.
Cuddly toy.
Yeah, I'm an entertainer.
Can you tell we haven't got much news that's worth a shit tonight? Oh god.
We've gone from Jimmy. Is that so? It must be right then. You know, like if you try and do certain accents, they turn into other things. So is this the same? You try and do Jimmy Hill when he turns into Bruce Forsyth.
Yeah, it's the chin.
It is the chin. You can't help it.
Yeah,
it's like a big magnet.
Tried to do anything. It turns into Shaw Taylor as well.
Keep peeled.
Yes, just keep them peeled. Hey, I don't know. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do. What is this? Bad impression night or something?
It is bad impression night. Yes.
What the fuck was in those lemon things?
I can't do accents very well.
No. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, Tom Hiddleston, who's playing Loki, has basically given away yet a little bit more about his relationship, the character's relationship with Captain America and the Hulk. And I quote: I had huge fun with Chris Evans as Captain America, because even though he's a super soldier, he's still a man up against a god who, in his own mind, is infinitely superior. Then in the ring with the Hulk, we've got a silver-tongued, lightning-quick mind up against the embodiment of rage. Loki has this mercurial, transformative ability, not just physically but intellectually. So not all fights are purely physical. Mind games? Maybe. That's his quote. So in other words, he's just gonna basically fucking talk people to death. That's how I read it.
I don't think Laura's gonna mind that at all. I think they just had a Loki movie with him just talking. She'd be happy with that.
Tom Hiddleston puts up shelves.
That's it. She'd be happy with that. Tom Hiddleston takes the bins out. There you are. That's it. A day in the life of Tom Hiddleston.
Oh yeah. By the way, another one of these quotes quotes given over as news.
Yeah.
For Dredd, co-star Olivia Thirlby, who plays Judge Anderson alongside Carl Urban's Judge Dredd, promises some major ass kicking from her character.
Ooh.
She says I quote, she says, "I get to kick major butt in Dread. I get to kill people. I even break a guy's neck with a roundhouse kick in the face. That was all me. I did it. I learned how to roundhouse kick. I also do it with my hands cuffed behind my back. So it's all pretty cool, I have to say. And yeah, the leather bodysuit, blonde hair, the whole thing, no helmet. But actually, the helmet, well, I'm not going to say anything with that.
Whatever that means.
I
I know she doesn't mention any sort of psychic stuff.
But you say that, but then she continues.
Oh, I see. Let her speak.
Yes, and she says her name is Judge Anderson. She actually got her own little spin-off because she has psychic abilities. This is kind of my prep for the character, although she's written by several different people, so depending on what comic you read, her persona is very different. Sometimes she's very sassy, she's got a lot of one-liners and she's very cool. Sometimes she's a little bit more tortured. She says some dark things happen to her, so sometimes she can be a very tortured person, what with the psychic abilities. So she is going to be actually psychic.
Good.
So that's a good start. And she says that she's already talking about having the opportunity to play Judge Anderson again.
I wonder.
Spin-off?
I wonder if
Dark
certain...
Judges.
Oh yeah.
Dark Judges. Oh,
you
man.
knows it.
Oh man, we can only hope.
Can we have Christopher Walken as Judge Death?
I don't
kill
think...
what lives.
Yeah, you cannot kill what doesn't have to live. And that sounds like William Shatner.
I had this fire up my ass. Is it good enough for you, old man?
Good enough for you, old man. Ah, Jesus Christ, this is the worst.
It's the Shonky Impression Show.
It's the Shonky Impression Show. Speaking of Shonky, by the way, other news, we're going to be appearing on Shonky Lab.
Yes.
It's
going to be a culmination of the two podcasts.
with Pete and Elton. On
just think of Candle in the Wind.
Well, yeah, we might be doing Biscuit Olympics. I don't know what.
Oh no, Biscuit Roulette.
Biscuit Roulette.
Biscuit Roulette.
Yes, but anyway, that's beside the point. That will be happening very soon as well. I don't think there's anything else really even worth mentioning. I mean, apart from that, the only other thing I would say, which isn't really news, but it did make me laugh, was that some guy with a lot of time on his hands has actually calculated how much it would cost to build a Death Star.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that include sort of like
Labour,
damp proofing and stuff?
Yeah. The whole 9 yards, yeah. Apparently, hold on, he did Economic Geeks over at Centives did some calculations, and based on just the cost of the steel required to build a structure of that size, the figure would be just the steel, not any of the life support or the gun or any of that stuff yet.
So none of the gubbins,
just the frame and the outside shell.
Okay.
Yeah, would cost $852,000 trillion.
Wow, that's a whole chunk of change, that, isn't
which apparently is roughly 13,000 times the world's gross domestic product.
Fucking hell.
Which means that basically the Empire were taking out loans from entire planets and then defaulting on them.
God, geez, I should say.
So there you go. But anyway, apparently, that's the cheapest part of the Death Star. Apparently, the cost in life support systems, hosing, and internal decking would actually triple that figure.
Good lord.
Oh, you know what this tells me? What this tells me? This tells me that economists have far too fucking much time on their hands.
They certainly do. Why don't you save the fucking economy? Get out there and do that.
Yeah.
We just said calculating the bloody cost of the Death Star.
Go dig a ditch in fucking Greece or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Earn your wages, motherfuckers.
Bring us back from the brink.
Yes.
You gits.
But anyway. Yes. So, there you go. That's the end of the news, I think. You got any news? Anything at all? While I flick through a few more websites to see if there's anything even remotely useful.
No, not that I can think of.
Oh, okay.
No news.
None at all.
No.
Right. Well, then in which case we get to Jim Moon's Profanisaurus just a little bit early.
Hey.
So, over to Jim.
Shaking hands with the unemployed. Euphemism. A wrestling bout between Hand Solo and the Pink Darth Vader.
Thank you for that, Jim. And of course, Jim will probably be back. I'm hoping he'll be back for some feedback a little bit later on. But if you want more of Jim, you can get him on Hypnobobs, which is on iTunes and on hypnogoria.com and on geekplanetonline.com/hypnobobs.
Yes, a very fantastic Hypnobobs.
Fantastic.
And if you are a Batman fan, I know this is kind of like, this is an ongoing series for Jim, but he does do an absolutely fantastically informative series on Batman, the whole history of Batman.
Yeah.
And it's still not finished yet. It's still ongoing. He's already had 6 parts
6
now?
parts. It's a bloody epic.
It's fantastic stuff. So,
yes.
Get down there and get funky with those episodes.
Yeah. But it is worth mentioning that he is currently having issues sanding his house, which is kind of ironic.
Is that going to be on next week's Profanisaurus?
Dunno.
Sanding the house!
Yes, to rub off. To dust down. To take the paint off the old chap. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, let's do some Rose Tinted Specs for the Money Pit.
Think back to the films you remember as good, ones you haven't viewed in a while. How the story rocked and the actors were great, the camera work had flair and style. What would happen now if you watch them today? Are they still as fresh as before? Or do they stink as bad as a piss-covered tramp, leave you screaming on the floor? You know it can be real sad to find that special film is bad. Wish you just left it a pleasant memory. Now it's time for Rose Tinted Specs on Blackdog. Watching movies from the past you thought were great. Yes, it's time for Rose Tinted Specs on Blackdog. Send your feedback in and tell us how they rate.
Right, okay, so The Money Pit. It was a film starring Tom Hanks and Shelley Long.
Does exactly what it says on the tin.
Does exactly what it says on the tin. And it was written by David Giler, who you may remember or you may not. He actually came up with the story for Aliens.
Did he?
Yes. He's credited as coming up with the stories, and basically along with James Cameron, and doing Cameron did the screenplay. Yes, it's also stars Alexander Goodenough, who obviously we all remember hanging from a chain on a blown up roof in Die Hard.
Yes.
And yes, was directed by a guy called was it Richard Benjamin? Oh, I don't know what he's done since.
I can show you. I think I can tell you who Richard Benjamin is. Let's see now. Oh, Christ Almighty!
Yeah, I've just seen him. Yes,
because I saw him on the making of documentary.
Goodness me, mate! Yeah, Richard Benjamin.
He was in Westworld. That's it.
He was in Westworld. He was in
He was in there with what's his name? Christian Bale's dad. The one who,
what the fuck are you
what's his fucking name? Is it Charles Grodin? No, not the one who was in Amityville. Played the.
You mean James Brolin?
James Brolin, yeah, that's it. Because there's that. Have you never seen that internet meme where they put James Brolin and Christian Bale together in a photograph and they've both got beards and it looks like they're related?
Well, actually, it turns out, because I didn't realise this, but he's apart from starring in films such as Catch-22 and Westworld, as you say, he's also directed quite a few films. He's directed City Heat, My Stepmother's an Alien.
Yeah.
Made in America.
Made in America.
Yeah, with Eddie Murphy.
Coming to America.
No. Oh no, Made in America. Sorry, Made in America is the one with Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg.
Right. Yes, where he's supposed to have
knocked her up.
Knocked her up.
Yes. Anyway, so that's very odd. Well, that's good. There's things I didn't know. Yes, the film was also produced by the Amblin Entertainment crew of Steven Spielberg, Kathleen Kennedy, and Frank Marshall, who are responsible for pretty much every Spielberg movie in the last 30 years.
We seem to be watching an awful lot of Spielberg films.
It does seem to be that way. We might have to. In fact, I think the next film might even have his influence on it as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have to move on from that. But anyway, the budget was $24 million, and it raked in at the box office worldwide $54 million.
54. Wow.
Which isn't bad for was it 1986, which is when this film was released.
I'd like to have $54 million in any time zone, really.
Well, yeah.
Still a whole heap of money, that.
Yeah, there's not an awful lot of information on the making of it. Even blooming IMDb, which is usually the home of trivia, seems to be sort of like quite lacking on this. The film was supposed to be a tentpole release for Christmas 1985, but then was later pushed back to 1986 after bad pre-screenings. And then and it also stars a bass player from Black Sabbath.
It does?
Yeah. Oh my god. The band White Lion ended up with the bass player ended up in Black Sabbath, but the band White Lion is that band that you see on the
metal
stage.
Band.
Yeah, when Tom Hanks has got the headphones on. Yes, the scene with the bathtub falling between two floors after being filled with water. Tom Hanks does that laugh, doesn't he? He does that. The clip of him laughing is commonly used on the Universal Backlog tour when the tour guides joke with the visitors. Apparently that won't get irritating at all.
No, it won't.
But anyway, yeah, that kind of as you're driving around him going I think after about 5 minutes. I mean, the amount of backlog tour guides they probably lost thanks to that. I have no idea. But anyway, yes, the film itself received some mixed to negative reviews on release and still does to this day. IMDb has only given it a collective score of, for goodness sake, of 5.9. Which is kind of an average.
Is that out of 10?
Yes, out of 10. Whereas Rotten Tomatoes reports that only 47% of the critics ever gave it a positive review, and so average rating, including readers' reviews, counts as 4.8 out of 10. But that's the way that is. So all in all, it's kind of a film that kind of inhabits that not quite loved, not quite hated.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
Because Wikipedia seems really quite bleak on the whole thing, and IMDb doesn't seem to have anything, as I've already said. And yes, so Darren, ignoring the internet scuttlebutt for a second, what do you think of it?
What do I think of it?
After watching it again, because bear in mind, this is just to set the scene for everyone here, because there was a lot of confusion as to why we didn't do something like Bachelor Party or something like that, and the reason was primarily because this and the film that would follow were films that came from our sort of past, so they were films that we would genuinely have Rose Tinted Specs about, so it was quite interesting to kind of revisit these.
The Bachelor Party, which is one that a lot of people suggested, is one that you haven't personally seen yourself.
No,
I've seen it. And we may get round to that.
If we had both seen it, chances are we would have done it. But it was just because we've seen both